Hey guys, I just wanted to come up here and give y'all the summary for Luke chapter 23. So the first thing I want to share comes out of verses 23 through 25. And this was when Jesus was put on trial, and both Herod and Pilate, the rulers at that time, had found Jesus innocent, but the people were demanding that he be crucified. They were demanding that he just get some form of punishment, even though he had done nothing wrong. And so verses 23 says, "But the mob shouted louder and louder, demanding that Jesus be crucified, and their voices prevailed. So Pilate sentenced Jesus to die as they demanded, and they had requested he release Barabbas, the man in prison for insurrection and murder. But he turned Jesus over to them to do as they wished." So basically, Pilate had already said multiple times before this that they were just going to flog him and release him because they had found nothing wrong. But the people were like demanding things. So he was like, okay, I'll just flog him and release them. But they were like, that's not enough. They wanted him dead. And so they had kept saying like, crucify him, crucify him. And Pilate had given into peer pressure. So I wrote, we too can be like Pilate. We can know what is right, but be moved under peer pressure. We need to determine beforehand to stand firm and rely on God for strength. So in this situation, y'all can really see the peer pressure, how the voices were just getting louder and louder, and they just kept going, kept going. And see, Pilate, he knew what was right. He knew that Jesus was innocent. He knew Jesus didn't do anything wrong. But under that pressure, he did get moved, and he did give into it and ultimately decide to let Jesus be turned over to the crucifixion. So I think it's really just important to set our minds beforehand that we are going to choose to serve God. We are going to choose to stand for God. We're going to choose to stand for what's right and what's true no matter what. And in situations when we're in peer pressure, really relying on God's strength, we know that in our own selves, we won't be able to do it. There's going to be times that we want to fit in. There's going to be times that we want to go with the flow because everyone else is doing it. There's going to be times, and especially myself as a teenager, there's multiple times where you want to give into peer pressure and things. You want to do it because everyone's doing it. You're going to be the only one left out or stuff like that. But we have to rely on God for strength. We can pray to God in those times to give us strength to be able to stand firm for God. And just determining beforehand, like, I am going to stand firm for God and serve him no matter what. I think that's really important. And it kind of reminds me of Daniel, but I'll put a part 2 to like explain the correlation. Always remember, Jesus loves you and so do I.